Hey everybody, thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to start a new unit on congruence. Congruence or congruency is a geometry term, and it refers to shapes or figures that are 100% equal to one another. Two shapes that are congruent, that means that they are the exact same size, they are the exact same shape, they have the exact same angles, they have the exact same everything. So there are a few little concepts that we have to kind of build up before we really get into congruence. And we're going to start here with classifying triangles. Triangles, of course, are the most basic geometric shape. They have three sides and three angles, which you probably knew. What you may not already know is that there are specific ways to identify or classify them. So let's look at those. The first way to classify triangles is by their angles. If you look at the size of a triangle's angles, it will help you classify them. An acute triangle, such as this first one right here, is a triangle where all of the angles are acute. And the word acute means less than 90 degrees. So looking at this triangle, you might be able to tell all three of the angles, which are its corners, are smaller than 90 degrees. That makes this triangle acute. All right. One way to remember that is that small things are cute, aren't they? Most of the time. So acute triangles have small angles, therefore they are cute. All right, down here, obtuse triangles have exactly one obtuse angle. An obtuse angle is one that is larger than 90 degrees. So right here, this top angle, you can tell it's wide. It is larger than 90 degrees. It is large. It's big. It's fat. It's obese. It's obtuse. All right, and this bottom triangle is an example of a right triangle. Right triangles have exactly one right angle. Wait for this little thing to get out of the way. But a right angle is one that is exactly 90 degrees. And that's what the bottom angle of this triangle, the bottom left angle of this triangle is a 90-degree angle. It's a perfect corner. It is perfect. It's correct. It's right. Okay, let's take a look at a few triangles here and let's identify them based on their angles. This first one, if we look and we were to take a protractor and set it on top of our triangle here and measure them, we would see that each of these angles is less than 90 degrees. Therefore, this is acute. This triangle down here, all right, we don't have to look very hard because check this out right here. Most of the time, these, whenever you see a symbol like this and an angle, that symbol means that this is a 90-degree angle. It's telling you that that is a right angle. That makes this triangle a right triangle. All right, up here, this triangle, see this angle, you may need to use a protractor to measure, but it is slightly wider than 90 degrees. Slightly wider than 90 degrees right there. That makes this triangle obtuse. All right, now this triangle right here, this may look like a 90-degree triangle, but if you were to get out your protractor and measure, this angle right here is not quite 90 degrees. This is probably more like 87 degrees. So because it is not exactly 90 degrees, it is not right. This triangle is acute. Okay, let's move on. Another way to classify triangles is by the sides. An equilateral triangle is one in which all of the sides are exactly the same. This side measures the same as this, and they both measure the same as this. All right, that makes it equilateral. An isosceles triangle is one in which exactly two sides are the same, such as this one, and the third side is different. And a scalene triangle is one in which all three sides are different. None of the sides are the same. So you may notice these little hash marks here. A lot of the times in geometry, they will use these marks to indicate the size of a triangle's side or any shape's side without assigning it a number. So this single slash mark, well, let's look up here. This single slash mark could be anything. It could be an inch. It could be 20 feet. But because all the other sides have the same slash mark, that means all three of the sides are equal. Okay? Whoops. All right, let's go ahead and identify these triangles now. So looking at this triangle, we see that this side has the same slash as this side. That means that these two are isosceles. I'm just going to abbreviate for the sake of time. So this is an isosceles triangle right here. Down here, this triangle, these two sides both have the same markings. That means that they are also isosceles. All right. Up here, this triangle, all three of the sides have the same identification, the same marking, the same hash mark. That means that this is an equilateral triangle. Finally, this triangle here, I think there's a mistake. I'm going to give it another slash. This side, and this side, they're all different. They all have different slash marks. That means this is a scalene triangle. And if you guessed that I was abbreviating because I don't know how to spell those words, you are correct. All right, there's a relationship between the sides and the angles of triangles. An angle will determine the size of the opposite side. Therefore, you can use the size of angles to determine whether it is scalene, isosceles, or equilateral. Now, without complicated math, you really can't use the size of the sides to identify the angles. However, if a triangle has two equal angles, it must have two equal sides. Therefore, it is isosceles. If a triangle has no equal angles, it must have no equal sides. Therefore, it is scalene. And this one is the most interesting one to me. If a triangle has three 60-degree angles, it is equilateral. The reason I make a point of 60-degree angles is because it is impossible for an equilateral triangle to have any different size angle. All equilateral triangles ever, all of the angles are 60 degrees. I just think that's kind of neat. All right, well, that's it for identifying and classifying triangles. See you next time.